Okay, sorry about that. My battery just died on my computer, so I had to plug my computer in. Okay, so I just wanted to finish up with. There's another company too that that I found out about too, as well as the fusion centers. It's called Infra-Guard. Infra-Guard, and I believe they are involved as well, like the fusion centers, and and you know, basically trying to fraud all of us. It doesn't, and that's what Alice was saying too. Is that okay? They try to make it sound like real professional, like it's a legitimate company, but I mean, there's a reason why it says in the Bible, know them by their fruits. I mean, what do these fusion centers do? What does the FBI do? Does the FBI have a good reputation? I mean, it doesn't. So you have to. It might sound good, but you have to look deeper than that. And this Infraguard, this is what they say they do. Okay, I looked this up. So I had never heard of this company. Alice just pointed this out to me because we're trying to figure out, exactly how. Because now that we know that the targeting comes down from the FBI. Okay, so it's like the CIA, and CIA gives the information to the fusion centers, and then the fusion centers disperse it to the FBI, and then the FBI disperses the information to the local police and other people, and that's how the whole targeting thing works. Okay, but this company is involved too. This Infra-Guard in other areas. So it says that Infra-Guard is has a unique partnership between the Federal Bureau of Investigation and individuals in the private sector for the protection of U.S. critical infrastructure and the American people. Oh, really? Where were you when there was the bridge collapse? Were you protecting the infrastructure? Maybe you should ask Infra-Guard. I'm sorry, where were you when, there was these bridge collapses? These, people running into these bridges? Were you protecting our infrastructure? Where were you with all these train disasters? It's been the same company pretty much, multiple times. Union Pacific. I can, anybody can look that up. Union Pacific has been the same company that's been in most of the train disasters. So if I were Infra-Guard, I'd be like, wow, what is that, Mini-Me from that show? Austin Powers? I'd be like, maybe we should look into this Union Pacific company that's affecting our infrastructure. With these train disasters, creating all these problems with our infrastructure, our trains. Yeah, because there seem to be the same company that's always the one involved in these train disasters. It doesn't take a genius, man. Infra-Guard is a unique partnership between the federal. Okay, yeah, I already read that. Okay, what does Infra-Guard do? As one of the nation's largest public-private partnerships, Infra-Guard connects critical infrastructure owners, operators, and stakeholders. Oh, there we go, stakeholders again. They got stake in all of us. They got stock in all of us. We're all just cattle to them. Okay, these are the terms that the elite use. They're the stakeholders, and they think of us as just cattle. Okay, they're the stakeholders that got the really that's how they think, the elite. It's how these this whole like New World Order group, Okay, and then I want to play some of the video by Deborah Tavares too, because she's been talking about this stuff for years. Okay, so I'll finish this here. The stakeholders with the FBI to provide education, networking, and information sharing on security threats and risks. Okay, I had never heard of this company. I don't know where they're located. but they're involved with the FBI. Okay, and we already know that the FBI is deep state, so I wouldn't trust this company. And they're clearly not protecting the infrastructure. So why do they get paid, and why are these companies still allowed to exist? Really, I mean, what are you doing? You're certainly not getting paid. You're not certainly not doing a job that you're trying to say that you do. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I want to, this is kind of a long video, but I'm just going to play a little bit of it now that I got my computer plugged in. Okay, so if you have not heard of Deborah Tavares, it's Deborah, and then her last name it's Deborah, Deborah, and then Tavares, Tavares. She has been blowing the whistle for years about this United Nations Agenda 2030, and she's been trying to warn people literally for years. She's got a website called stopthecrime.net. So I will just play a little bit of her last.
Attack warning means that an actual attack against this country has been detected.
This is so this is just her on the. This is when she was on the Ben Fellows radio show that just this was many years ago. Okay, this was 11 years ago, but I just got sent it just got sent to me again. But she's been literally trying to warn people for all these years of this.
Saturday, it's the 1st of December 2012.
But this is really important information, and I'm going to play it for you if you have not heard of Deborah Tavares.
Deborah, welcome to the show again.
Well, thank you so much, Ben. Yes, we're talking right now. We're in Northern California where we're having some weaponized weather events conducted on us right now. And what we're seeing is flooding and the anticipation of landslides.
Yeah.
And they're talking about this happening in some of the rural areas, which is all part of UN Agenda 21. And the variety of ways that they're collapsing private property rights through property destruction, through weaponized weather events. But tonight, I know, Ben, we want to talk about the planned attack upon all of our countries globally. And we know that, in their own words, I can't emphasize enough, on our site, stopthecrime.net, we have source documents. And one of the most profound source documents, only 41 pages in length. Everyone needs to read it. It's the Silent Weapon Quiet War document.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing. And for those that haven't read it, it's important to know that this was declared by the international elites at the Bilderberg Group in 1954, and it was a policy adopted. And they are declaring war upon the people, and it was to be kept quiet. And everybody needs to read this. This will fall into place with our discussion as we go through this today.
Brilliant. Yeah, because I downloaded that document, I think, when we first spoke a couple of months ago, and I was astonished. And I look around now and I can see exactly what they're doing. All these pathogenic frequencies flying around, harming us from your mobile phones, from all those iPads and things like that. I mean, we're in a soup, aren't we, Deborah?
Well, we are in, yes, humanity is on the brink. And what we now know, and what I want to urge everyone to do, we just put on stopthecrime.net the recent Jesse Ventura segment where they're talking about the Ozarks. And the Ozarks are here in the United States. And it's Oz, O-Z, Ark, Oz's Ark. And I urge everyone to go to stopthecrime.net under breaking news and watch.
And Jesse Ventura was a very good governor of Minnesota. And he has written books. So I'll stop this for a minute. Jesse Ventura, if you have not ever heard of his, he has got CDs out and books that he's written. And he was the governor of Minnesota years ago, and he was basically threatened. He talks about they really didn't expect him to win, and I guess they just really didn't expect him to win. He was, a sports person, and I guess they were kind of shocked in Washington when he won, and they took him downstairs in some weird area of the White House or something, and literally interrogated him after he won the election to try to figure out what he was going to do. Was he going to be a problem, I guess, and he was in shock. He's he didn't even know who these people were. He was taken to some area of the White House, and he talks about that in his book and his CDs, and he's lived outside the country for many years. I mean, that's how much he was freaked out about what he saw as a governor in Minnesota. What he experienced about working for the government. I guess it really freaked him out, and he wrote a bunch of had some audio CDs and some books for sale after that. So if you didn't know who Jesse Ventura was. Okay, so let me just finish playing this. I don't know if I'll play the whole thing because it's really long, but this is an amazing video.
The planet, and they're going underground. Instead of rats fleeing the ship, we've got moles going underground, and that is what's going to happen. But let's start by backing up and looking at what we know in the words of the military. We are under massive military attack because, as we know, the military-industrial complex is being controlled and run by the elites to do the destruction and to reduce the population by 95% and to gain control and slip us into the New World Order. And they're doing that through all types of methods. And the smart meters on every home, the electrical meters and also gas meters and water meters, is designed for full spectrum energy dominance. That we must keep off our homes. Initially, this is the one.
Yeah, I tried to I tried to not get a smart meter on my house that I have in South Dakota, and I'm still trying to get it off. I really didn't even. They tried to say that my old one was falling off, and I mean it was a part of it was true because it was kind of falling off. So I just let them a few years ago they put a smart meter on, and now I'm hearing this, and I'm reminded that these smart meters are a part of the problem. They've been they're trying to say, oh, it's more accurate, or it's an updated thing, trying to say they have to update it for some reason. No, it's part of the bad agenda. It's not some kind of update, to help you. Okay.
One thing everyone listening right now can do: keep these meters off your homes. And then I urge you to go to refusesmartmeters.com. And also, Ben, I know we did a segment on smart meters, so I refer everyone to that.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's on our archive on our website, and of course, we'll put links back to refusesmartmeters.com and stopthecrime.net on our website as well, so people can just link straight through from the show.
Right. It's really important as we build into this NASA document that we talk about some of the Army documents, one in which was obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, and it is on refusesmartmeters.com. And it talks about the weaponized technologies used by the military. And of course, we know that the weaponized military technologies were first used heavily by the military for spying and battlefield applications. And we also know that the CIA became very interested in microwave technology many, many decades ago, and how they could influence our mental state in our brains. We also know that they could harm us without wounds or bleeding that way as well. And we know that the level of research and knowledge is profound, and it's not shared with the public. So the rollout of all of this is stealth, and it's deceptive, and it has happened. And for what purpose? Infertility, depopulation, mind control. We know big pharma reaps more profits from people who have more problems and difficulties from sleeping, depression, diabetes. Go on to refusesmartmeter.com and print off all of the symptoms that we are going to have and that are going to increase as we are being absolutely microwaved and frequencied to death here on the planet. We know that it increases the brain temperature, and we are under massive assault. So as you do a little research on some of those military documents, and then go to the NASA Future War document, which is posted on stopthecrime.net. It is entitled Future Strategic Issues, Fair Circa 2025.
Yeah.
And we have to understand this is a master plan, and the timeline is now.
Right, because this is a real document. This is I can see on the top corner, because I've downloaded it, and I'm going to go through it with you, so we're all doing it together. So if you go to stopthecrime.net, download it now, pause us, download it, and come back and join us. You can go through it with you as well. So on the top here, I can see Dennis M. Bushnell, Chief Scientist, NASA Langley Research Center. I mean, this is as real as it gets, isn't it, Deborah? This is a real document.
Well, it is. It absolutely is. And a matter of fact, this document was presented in July of 2001, just a couple of months before 9/11 here in the United States.
Right.
And as we move through this document, we're going to find where they talk about intentionally hitting critical infrastructure here in the continental United States. But we'll move towards that.
Yeah.
So we're now on page 1,
Yeah.
and we're flipping to page 2, where it talks about the topics are robots, cyborgs, and humans.
Yeah.
And basically what you'll hear as you go through this document is the elimination of humans and the replacement of humans by cyborgs and robots. And at this moment, I wanted to ask you, Ben, if you've seen the madness in the fast lane there in the UK. It's up on YouTube, and it's a very, very curious display of super soldier strength by two women that were in the motorway there in Britain.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah, and they one gets hit by a truck, one gets hit by a car. Is that just like is this the thing you're talking about? And then one jumps over a bridge back
Yes.
into the motorway. Yeah.
Yes, and after being hit by a car and being knocked out, the woman gets up.
That's right.
And then breaks free of all law enforcement and then jumps over the center divide into the oncoming traffic on the other side of the motorway.
Yeah.
So that's madness in the fast lane, and so I think we might want to link to that just to show the super strength as we move through this document of what is ahead of us.
Sure.
But I can tell you on page 3, these are some of the organizations that are involved in this massive plot against humanity. We've got the U.S. Air Force, we've got the National Research Council, we have got the Atlantic Command, we've got the Australian Department of Defense, we've got the National Reconnaissance Office, we have DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, and we have the CIA, the FBI, Southern Command, we have got many training and doctrine command. The list goes on, and the acronyms are listed there, and people need to look and see just who is involved. We have literally been deceived by all the agencies that we thought were out for our best interest. They are not. We're in the crosshairs. On page 4, what I want to point out is that on the second bullet, it's very, very important to see that all of what we're talking about, Ben, is based in all cases upon existing data, trends, analysis, technologies, and they say, quote, no pixie dust. So what they're telling us is that they have all of the technology and everything back in July of 2001. And everything that we're going to be talking about is available and was available to them then.
So what they're saying then, just to be clear, is they're saying, look, here's what in this presentation you're going to hear a whole bunch of stuff, but we don't have to use our imaginations. It's not like putting a new spaceship up in space and you have to say it's going to do this and that and the other, because that's really all kind of pie in the sky, isn't it? Until it happens. They're saying they have the technology right now to do everything that's going to be in this presentation. That's it, isn't it?
That's exactly it,
Right.
and that's why we want to discard the word future as the title for this document, where it says future strategic issues and future warfare circa 2025. It is now. That is the important underscoring. It is available now. Everything we're going to talk about was available in 2001, and we can only imagine, Ben, how much advancement has been made since 2001.
Oh.
Now, because we have many, many important topics through this document to discuss, I'm now on page 7.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about how they're talking about technology and nanotechnology, and the revolutions are changing now in scales of months instead of decades. That cannot be underscored enough. We know that right now we are being taken down. This is a tyranny through technologies, and it is on steroids. And they say that on page 7. Changes occurring in scale of months instead of decades. Now on page 8, those that know that global warming was a hoax, you can look at many documents. You can read the Silent Weapons Quiet War document. You can look at the Iron Mountain report that JFK requested back in 1961. You'll see how they brought about mass pollution. So to gain an understanding of why it's a hoax, I recommend the Iron Mountain documentary or download the PDF on stopthecrime.net. But now we're on page 8 of the NASA document. NASA is saying Spaceship Earth. The crew are plundering the ship's supplies, tinkering with the temperature and life support controls, still looking for the instruction manual, engaging in bloody skirmishes in every corner of the vessel, increasing the size of the crew by 2 million per week. NASA is engaged in the lie of global warming. So this is the basis of which the deception and the terror is being built up on. So we must understand the elite must control us through terror. And we must know that it is not a global warming event that is underlining and the basis of all of this green movement, that we are all finding ourselves being relegated in. They're trying to create massive fear. We're polluting the planet. We're plundering it, as they say on paper.
Well, if you want to continue watching this, listening to this, it is the Ben Fellows radio show, and on ARC Copy YouTube channel, and that's so Deborah Tavares. Okay, I'm not going to play the whole thing because it goes on for like I think another hour. She's explaining. I mean, but you can also go to her website, stopthecrime.net. But yeah, I mean, like she said, I mean, it is they have to keep us in fear for this to work. If we continue educating ourselves and going to these documents and understand that and reading through that they've had this planned for like 50 years, everything that's going on, they're just implementing it now. And yeah, I mean, they're trying to push this green, this global warming and take our carbon I mean, like they're trying to do something. They just, here locally where they're trying to limit our electricity, anything carbon based, because they're trying to say it has to do with the environment. And this is an agenda from the elite. This is an agenda. This is a New World Order agenda by the elite that they've had planned. It has nothing to do with us putting too much carbon in the atmosphere. This is a completely made up lie. And Deborah Tavares has been trying to blow the whistle on this for years. She's been around for 15 years trying to blow the whistle on this. And then, and then they're trying to remember, and they're trying to get us all to do electric cars because of what they try to say, too much exhaust pollution, and okay, look at and then they have things now where the electric cars are exploding, or there's different issues there, and there's definitely not enough like charging stations for the electric cars. I mean, they just don't, it's just not working. That part of your agenda is just not working. The batteries are exploding, there's problems there's not enough charging stations. It's just, you can't force people to get electric cars when you don't have enough charging stations for people to. And then you got these things going on where the batteries are exploding and stuff. It's like you can't push an agenda like that where that's not safe for people to, they get lost and their car breaks down and they have nowhere to charge it. I mean, that's just not feasible. These people are just are trying to. It's asinine. They're trying to push these like just ridiculous agendas. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so anyway, so you can listen to more, but this is a really important video, and her information. She's been trying to warn people for 15 years, and I've been listening to Deborah Tavares for years, and I've known she's telling the truth, and I've been trying to tell people too. Like I mean, I know I can tell when people are telling the truth, and then there's so much, you got to decipher who's telling the truth, and I always knew she was telling the truth. She's just reading documents, so okay, so anyway, I think I think to combat the fear is that we just have to keep being keep being wise to their agendas, and that will and then we won't be in so much fear, because it's like they have this all written out. We just got to go look at it. Oh, let's just go to the document and see what they have planned next. Instead of being in fear, like, what are they going to do next? I mean, it's literally all written in these documents that she's reading. Here's what our agenda is to UN 2030. I mean, they've been planning this right for, and they kind of make fun of us on how dumb we are. I mean, we literally have it written right in documents. You just don't read it. I mean, but I've been awake and aware for, I think, my whole life, just more observant, and just like I pick up on different things that other people don't, and it's been like that like my whole life. So I guess I've just been like that more so than others. But anyway, so I think we just have to keep informing each other and keep researching, and so we don't get in that fear mode, because that's what they want us to be in. Okay, so God bless, and watch more of her video, please. Okay.